Okay, getting reports of hail. Getting large hail here at my house. So this is, we're seeing hail the west side of Franklin. Tornado warning continues for Williamson County. So the rotation's going into Franklin. We've got hail on the north side of it. Oh man, it's a lot of hail. You can hear it hitting my window right beside me. So I'm hoping it stops before it breaks my windows. But there you see that purple spot? That is, it's starting to pick up now. So there's your hail. Ah, man, that is really large hail. I'm getting golf ball size hail easily. I mean, it is pounding on my roof. Oh. I know you can hear that on the stream. Large hail. I would appreciate that if that stopped. So, big hail on the west side of Franklin. I mean, crushing hail. And then the tornado warning continues. The rotation's going over Franklin. Huge hail to the west and north of Franklin. It does look like there could be a debris signature. So stand by. All right, so I can confirm a lot of hail on the west side of Franklin. I think that's what's showing up. That's what all that is, showing up on the radar, just on the west side of Franklin. It nickel size, quarter size, came down pretty heavily though for a few minutes. Let's see. Yeah. So, tornado warning continues for Williamson County. The rotation now is passing on the east side of Franklin. Let's take a look at it from the Hopkinsville radar too, see where the mid-level rotation is. So it's not showing up nearly as well. Now we have this rotation back over Hohenwald, that if it continues moving northeast, it's going to move back over Murray County into Williamson County. Severe thunderstorm warning with it. And then, so back to the Nashville radar, the rotation is right on the east side of Franklin now, about to cross Interstate 65. Getting a lot of hail reports from West Haven as well. Obviously, on the west side of Franklin, that's this area. It's going up toward Barry's Chapel now, so you're going to get hail along Hillsborough Road near South Barry's Chapel, going into Grassland, south side of Grassland. It's going to last 5 to 8 minutes. Luckily, the wind wasn't blowing harder than it was, because it would have blown out windows and shredded window screens and things like that. So the rotation is over here on the east side of Franklin. It doesn't look as tight as it did earlier, but it's right there. And that's near McEwen and I-65. Anywhere through the Cool Springs area, it's passing through right now, the rotation. So in Fairview, we did have damage from one of the storms a little earlier. 4-foot diameter tree fell on a car on Pinecrest Court. So we have some tree damage there in Fairview. So tornado warning continues now. The rotation is about to move out of Williamson County as it moves toward Nolans. Well, it's not moving out of Williamson County. It's about to move out of the tornado warning area as it moves toward Nolensville. So we'll have to see if the Weather Service reissues a tornado warning or if they issue a severe thunderstorm warning as it moves off to the north and east. Next in line for the hail, it's running along Barry's Chapel, going up over the big hill. Then it will cross Franklin Road and go into the Moore's Lane areas where the large hail that came through here, if it continues on that track, is going to make it through. Yeah, so here's your rotation right there. McEwen, right along McEwen Drive, going through Cool Springs. It's going to end up crossing over Wilson Pike and move over Split Log Road. Is where that rotation is going to go. We don't have any confirmation of so they just did extend the tornado warning. So there's your tornado warning now. Technically it includes Franklin, but the worst of the storm is east of Franklin. Nolensville, you're in it. That's really the next area that's in line. It's coming through Cool Springs now, and it's headed toward Nolensville, the rotation, and then eventually toward Laverne and Smyrna. So that tornado warning includes northeastern Williamson County into Rutherford County and the southeastern corner of Davidson County. That's where that tornado warning is right now. Let's see. Still seeing rotation with the storm near Franklin, going to issue a downstream tornado warning. With these storms trending over the same area, flash flooding will continue to be a growing concern. So that's kind of mimicking what we've been talking about, how gradually this will transition from a severe threat, although we'll still have several hours likely of warnings here in these areas, to a flash flood threat under these training echoes. Now, here's the next big cell to watch right here. that would come up into Murray County and then back into Williamson County. Man, the hail's getting larger, by the way. It's moving toward Brentwood Hills, Stonehenge, Brentwood South, Concord Country Estates. Near the intersection of Franklin Road and Concord Road, you're going to get big hail. I mean, when I say big, I'm talking at least nickel to quarter size hail, perhaps golf ball size hail now in this purple area. So we got a new tornado warning. This is the cell that I was just talking about. That's pretty strong rotation, about to go through Gordonsburg, right? And so this is a true couplet. Now the radar beam is kind of high in this area because it's pretty far away from the Nashville radar, but this is in Lewis County. It's going to move into Murray County around Hampshire, and that's right where the tornado went through earlier over the weekend. That is strong rotation, though, being indicated there by the radar. Let's see let's just read the tornado warning here. Tornado warning for Lewis County, Murray County, southwestern corner of Williamson County, southeastern corner of Hickman County. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing tornado near Hohenwald, moving northeast at 50 miles an hour, radar indicated. So this couplet is pretty strong. It's one of the strongest we've seen over the last couple of hours. Again, the radar is up here. The radar is, radar's up here, rotation's here, and so the radar beam is shooting in the mid-levels of this storm, but that's pretty tight rotation. We'll see how long it holds together. This is Lewis County. This is Murray County, so it would be moving through the northwestern corner of Murray County if it held together, and then back into Williamson County, and may threaten close to Franklin if it holds together again. So let's see if we're seeing any debris with that. We're going to have to watch that carefully. There's some signs there could be. There's the rotation moving over Gordonsburg. Really strong rotation there. Again, you're getting large hail, at least quarter size, maybe a little bigger. Franklin Road and Murray Lane. And it's about to cross Interstate 65. You're going to get a lot of reports of hail in this area, in that purple area. It dropped nickel to quarter size hail at my house for 5 to 7 minutes. And this is actually a stronger signal that it has now than it was when it went over my house. Moving over Fountainhead right now, came through Heathrow Hills, and it's going to be crossing 65 and then Wilson Pike near Old Smyrna Road. But look out for large hail there. Tornado warning continues. The rotation with that cell is east of Brentwood. It's moving over Split Log Road now, moving off toward Pleasant Hill Road, Sam Donald Road. It's going to pass over Sunset Acres, or very close to Sunset Acres, and very close to Sunset Road as it moves east. That's a highly, highly populated area with lots of subdivisions scattered through there between Brentwood and Smyrna and Laverne. So make sure that you're ready for that storm as it continues to rotate. Not showing any clear signs of debris or anything, but definitely has hail with it. Okay, the hail signature's reduced a little bit now. So probably down to maybe penny size or pea size hail, but has had a history of producing large hail as it's going through Brentwood. And then we went from one tornado warning now to 3 tornado warnings. And this is the strongest cell right here as far as rotation is concerned. Right there around Gordonsburg, strong rotation coming through Salem. That's about to move out of Lewis County, back into Murray County near Hampshire, Chapel Hill, Kettle Mills, the west of Columbia. If it continues on its current track, that rotations should stay just on the west and north side of Columbia, but Columbia, you are officially in the tornado warning. Let's see if there's any signs of debris there. So we're getting a lot of contamination in the radar right now. It's hard to read on the debris field on it. Let me see what it looks like from Lewisburg or Lawrenceburg. This is a local radar there. Let's see what yeah, so there's your rotation. There's your rotation right there. North of Gordonsburg, west of Hampshire, moving northeast. Let's see if it has any correlation coefficient. So not showing any definite signs of debris with it, but certainly is rotating strongly. We'll take a look at it in one more place from another radar here. Just trying to get all angles. Okay. So back to the Nashville radar to take a look at it, and there it is. So here's western Murray County. It's going to cross into, there's the county line, going to cross into western Murray County. And again, if it continues on its current track, it's going to move back into Williamson County. So we may see yet another warning for Williamson County. So the strongest rotation with the tornado warning now in Williamson County currently is passing over Nolensville, moving toward Laverne and Smyrna. We still don't have any confirmation of anything on the ground. Let's see. More, yeah, confirming that tree on a house in Fairview. 1.25 inch hail near Franklin. That's the same thing that I went through 5 miles west of Franklin. We're gonna see what comes up next here. So one rotation going over Nolensville, tornado warning there. Stronger rotation coming out of Lewis County into Murray County. And gonna have to watch that one too. It's even got a donut hole. See that right there? That's an indication of strong rotation. Right there. This is the Murray County line. And up here is the Williamson County line. So it's going to move through the northwestern corner of Murray County, Santa Fe, Williamsport, Hampshire. Hampshire was affected by a tornado a few days ago. And this is going over the same basic area. All right. So a bumpy night. We're gonna see this same pattern for much of the day. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna take a look at let's see, models, section allowing HRRR. So this is the computer model forecasting the rain through the daytime today. So gradually that boundary starts to lift northward as we go into, this is lunchtime. And then by the time we get into 3 o'clock, we're still seeing rounds of severe weather, much like we're seeing right now. It's just shifted back a little farther north. But man, this is a forecast model. So this is 3 o'clock this afternoon. The same, almost the exact same pattern, but it's shifted from where it is now back to the north just a little bit. There's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 inches of rain in these areas. And this is... by 9 p.m., we are starting to see a break. More thunderstorms back to the west by 9 o'clock. So, again, I'm going to play this for you. You can see it just continuously rains through the middle of the day, pretty much in the same areas that we're getting it now. Then it gradually starts to shift back to the north and west and gets a little quieter tonight into Friday. before it comes back on Saturday. So that's the computer model forecast for what's going to be happening. And then here's what's happening right now. This is the live radar. Tornado warning continues for Williamson County for rotation coming out of Nolensville headed toward Laverne and Smyrna. In Rutherford County, could be a new rotation trying to develop. No, it's not showing up well there. But south of Franklin, heavy rain coming through Franklin still. And then this cell, we'll see if that rotation, so there's the strong rotation coming out of Lewis County into Murray County. It's coming out of, it's going to be passing over Hampshire, back up into Williamsport. And just lots and lots of reports of hail with this whole system. So tornado warning continues for Murray County for a cell that's going to pass to the northwest of Columbia. It's gonna be close though. It's gonna be close. It's on the northwest side of Columbia, coming out of Hohenwald. And then this is the cell with the rotation coming out of Nolensville, going into Laverne and Smyrna. Let's see what's showing up on the velocity data. Yeah, so there's your rotation center. Moving toward Laverne, coming out of Nolensville. So these are the two main tornado warnings. The tornado warnings have subsided back to the southwest. That's good. Hopefully we'll get a break from the tornado warnings as we go through the morning. Let's see here. Flash flood warning, Pickett, Sumner, Jackson, Overton, Trousdale, Wilson, Macon, Smith counties. And let's see, looking at some other data here. You're probably going to hear it double up a little bit here for a second. Let's see. Seeing it, any reports here coming in. Yeah, lots of reports of hail. Fortunately, not a lot of reports of damage other than a tree on a house in Fairview, unfortunately. Lots of reports of hail. We're starting to get the creeks and streams are rising in these areas where we're seeing the training of the rain. And we're going to have, where you've had the storms and where you've been waking up to the storms, we've got a few more hours of this off and on through the daytime today. So tornado warning for Murray County. The rotation is crossing into Murray County now out of Lewis County. Still very strong couplet here. Moving toward Taylorsville, Kettle Mills, Williamsport, north side of Hampshire. We'll look at the debris tracker here. Not seeing any clear signs of debris, but the circulation and rotation is still clearly evident here. Moving, it's crossing the county line. Dry Fork Road. Yeah, it's still a tight circulation there. Now again, the radar is still pretty far north of this storm. So here's the radar, the Nashville radar. It's still quite a way, so you're hitting the mid-levels of this storm. Let's take a look, probably the same thing, mid-levels here of the Hopkinsville radar. Take another look at it on the Lawrenceburg radar. There's your rotation. Yeah. So back to Nashville. There's your rotation right there. So northwestern corner or the west side of Murray County. We'll watch to see what happens as it moves through this region. A tight rotation. That's the tightest rotation we've seen in with the storms this evening for the last couple of hours at least. And again, this would be going back into Williamson County, coming back over Prim Springs, coming back potentially into Franklin. We'll see if it holds together. The history of these storms has been for them to be strong for a period of time, for a few minutes, and then weaken. And hopefully that's what we're going to see as it comes out of Murray County into Williamson County. No significant tornado touchdowns, which has been good. Yeah, the National Weather Service is bullseyeing this storm right now, saying that's the strongest that they've got on the radar right now. Kind of same thing that we are. So there it is. You're still getting, so where you see the red and the blues come together, that's called a TDS, or potential TDS with it. TDS. Let's see. But that's a sign that the rotation is very tight and right together. So Taylorsville along Taylor Store Road, Love Branch Road here in Murray County, approaching the Duck River. Really strong rotation, tight rotation. When they're next to each other like that, that's a sign that we could have a tornado on the ground. Looking for there could be some signs of debris there. It's hard to tell because we've had a lot of just poor contamination of the radar all night. But there it is right there. That might be a debris ball right there. Coming over Taylor Store Road, moving toward Chapel Hill. See where that is in relation to the, yeah, that's right where the rotation is. So that could be debris right there. Right, moving toward Chapel Hill, Lovetown. Again, Booker Farm Road. It's going to end up moving. All right, so it just updated. So now into Chapel Hill and Lovetown. And next in line would be Jimmy Gray Robinson Road, Foster Chapel Road. If it continued on its current track. Let's see what the tornado warning, if there's any updates here. No. Let's see. I'm going to look at some more information here. Yeah, so here's the update. They continue the tornado warning. Let's see. See what the tornado warning here, because I think this is a debris. This could be debris right there. So we might have a tornado on the ground. All right, it's kind of so the debris, the rotation is kind of changing shape again. It could be beginning to weaken, but sometimes when you see them start to weaken, that's when the tornado is actually coming from the mid-levels down to the ground. So we're going to have to watch that very carefully. Let's see what the correlation coefficient. It's showing potentially some signs there, but hopefully it's going into a weakening phase. It's coming into Williamsport and Sawdust right now. It's about to cross Williamsport Pike. And the next stops, if it held together, would be Santa Fe again, New Hope. Cross Highway 7 at Santa Fe. If it's still on the ground. Let's see. Just going to continue to look at a couple different things here. Yeah, there's your strong rotation right there. And what I'm talking about is right there. This is Williamsport Pike. This is Highway 7. Those will be areas next in line. There's your rotation. Still pretty tight. Still pretty tight. Coming through Williamsport now and Sawdust. Along Williamsport Pike Road, Snow Creek Road. Stephanie Road. Brown Hollow Road here in Murray County, northwest of Columbia. Columbia, this is past, there's Columbia. It's passing northwest of you. Let's see. This is a dangerous storm. So there's been a funnel cloud sighted with this. Let's see what we see here. Yeah, I can't. There's been a funnel cloud sighted with this, which would match what we're seeing on the radar. So you can see the tornado warning does include the southwest corner of Williamson County, again including much of the Prim Springs mailing route here in the southwestern corner. So there's your rotation, tight rotation. And let's see, I'm gonna watch what's coming out of the Weather Service on this. Let's see. So looking at different sources of info. All right. So this is the tornado warning for Murray County, moving towards Santa Fe. There's your rotation. It may start to undergo some changes in the structure of the storm, but there's your rotation right there. There was a funnel cloud that was reported to the Weather Service near Williamsport, which would match what we're seeing here. And this is moving northeast, so the tornado warning, there's the core. It was back in about right there where it might have had some debris with it, southwest of Williamsport. Moving now, the next town would be Santa Fe along Highway 7, and then after that it would be moving along Snow Creek Road and eventually Theta, and then back up into the southern part of Williamson County. So the next step will be to see if the Weather Service issues a new tornado warning for Williamson County, and to see if the rotation's holding together pretty well. So if I run this through motion, you can see that it's been just traveling right through the middle of that tornado warning box right here. You can track it right there. So it's holding together for the moment. And that coincides with the little notch right there going over Sawdust, crossing over Williamsport Pike. And again, next in line would be Highway 7. That rotation, these are the roads that rotation is going to pass over. Parsons Bend Road, also Pig Schoolhouse Road, Snow Creek Road, and then along Highway 7. So there it is right there. And it's still showing up pretty well in the velocity data right there over Sawdust. Moving Santa Fe, it's about to come over you. You are under a tornado warning. So I'm going to read you this also from the Weather Service. Surface bound, and we've been talking about this too. Surface boundary remains stalled over Middle Tennessee. That's why the supercells are training over the same areas. With favorable shear and instability persisting, the tornado and severe thunderstorm threat will persist for the next few hours. The tornado watch that's in effect until 6 a.m. may need to be extended. And we'll see if they choose to do that or not. Flash flood warnings are lined up in these areas where these cells have been moving over the same areas. And so we've seen, again, a slight eastward push to the line. That's probably stalling out now. And then gradually through the day, it'll move back, kind of wiggle back a little bit between Nashville, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Murfreesboro. And then eventually this evening, we'll pass back up to the north and hopefully out of our area. This is your strongest cell right now, the only tornado warning for this cell coming into Santa Fe. Velocity is still showing a couplet here. And a little earlier we had signs of maybe some rotation or some debris. Maybe a little sign of it still. Yeah, I think that's probably, that could be, this right here could be debris. This little area right there. Because that's right where that rotation is. So Santa Fe, you need to be in your safe spot. New Hope, you need to be in your safe spot. Highway 7, in and around Santa Fe. It's going to cross over Snow Creek Road, Santa Fe Pike, and right in those areas, and then it's going to be passing very close to New Hope, and then potentially right over Theta. So between Santa Fe and Theta on Snow Creek Road, and then on Snow Creek, let's see, we're starting to get maybe some hail that's about to pass through Santa Fe too. There's the hook, strong hook with it. There's your couplet, velocity couplet, and then it's hard to tell because of the way the radar beam is passing through this area, but I think I might have seen a little bit of a signature of some debris a few minutes ago. Tornado warning. So if I'm on Stevens Road, Parsons Bend Road, and Santa Fe on Highway 7, I am in my safe spot. So there's your hook right there. And the hook seems to be strengthening, is bending even more as it tries to pull in drier air from the east side. Columbia, this is going to pass just to your northwest, although some other cells to the south may move into Columbia. This is the strongest cell that we have right now. And still, you're seeing the red right next to the blues. That's rotation. That's the center of the rotation. Let's see what we're seeing from the Weather Service. Got power outages scattered throughout Dixon and Hickman counties from the storms. I'm going to open that window back up here. I'm starting to hear thunder off of that storm in Santa Fe. All right, there's another radar update for us. So now the rotation is going over Parsons Bend Road, Stevens Road. About to pass over Roberts Cemetery, Weiser Cemetery, Weiser Hill, Roberts Bend. And then shortly it'll be over Highway 7. There's your rotation right there. But yeah, crossing Highway 7, that is a nasty looking signature on the radar for a rotating storm. You hear nearly constant rumbles of thunder with it. Let's see. we'll get an update from the Weather Service on what they're going to do with the warning here in the not too distant future. It's going to be a few more hours before this is completely done. Let's see. Just taking a look at some more information. I like to check several sources of data. So we are here in Middle Tennessee with these thunderstorms that are training over the same areas as this boundary has now. The boundary is pushed just to this on the southeast side of Nashville, running from Lebanon to Franklin to northwest of Columbia, near Columbia to Hohenwald. These cells are training over the same areas over and over and over. See. So the lone tornado warning that we have right now is right here. This is a cell that's moving the heavy rains and some hail across Santa Fe. The rotation is crossing Highway 7 near Roberts Bend Road, Santa Fe Pike. Santa Fe Pike is Highway 7. So Roberts Bend Road, Knob Creek Road, that's where the rotation is passing over. We've had a pretty consistent couplet with it, still have it. I'd say there's a strong risk of a tornado on the ground here. The velocity data is getting stronger and stronger. Yeah, right there. So there's a good chance of a tornado on the ground here, moving in New Hope in Murray County. We'll see if that signature holds, because we're let me check something here. Bethel, Scully. I'm gonna check on something here. So that rotation is going to pass over New Hope. It's going to move along Carter's Creek Pike near Jameson, not too far from where Carter's Creek comes into Nashville Highway there. North side of Columbia. That is a strong signature there. We'll see if that holds. See what the Weather Service is saying. So the rotation is persisting aloft according to the Weather Service. Another tornado warning coming for Murray County. It's going to be from Murray County into Williamson County. Let's see. So there's a rotation with it. We'll see if it holds together as it moves into Williamson County. Right here, I don't know if that could be a little bit of debris again. over Darks Mill Road. It's going to pass up on the west side of Spring Hill. You can hear the thunder on the north side of that cell. There's your hook, Spring Hill. It's going to be passing on the west side. There's your velocity couplet. It's going to be passing very close to the GM plant that holds together. And then it's going to come up Carter's Creek Road into Burwood, across 840. So here's your new tornado warning. So the tornado warning does not include Franklin. It includes the south side of Franklin, Countrywood Estates, Riverview Park, Gardner Estates, Oakwood Estates, Durham Manor. So south side of Franklin. So on the west side of Spring Hill, this rotation is going to pass on the west side of Spring Hill out by the GM plant. And then it's going to move up into Thompson Station in Burwood. It also has some potential for some hail too. But there's your rotation. There's the rotation. It has shown some possible signs at times of maybe a little bit of debris. Just listening to some information, because this is going to be passing in very close to Spring Hill, on the west side of Spring Hill, and then into Thompson Station in Burwood. There's the rotation right there. Sorry, I'll show you. So the tornado warning. There's the rotation. It's had a long history of rotation, as it came across Murray County out of Lewis County. And now the rotation is going to be going up into Spring Hill. Still has a strong hook on it right there. So this will come through Spring Hill into Thompson Station. It's going to cross 840 near Burwood. All right, here's the radar update. So it's still got the strong hook. Going to pass that very close to the GM plant. Still showing the good signs of rotation. Again, it's at least mid-level rotation. It's still a little bit ways. The radar is up here. Let's see. Let me send this. Okay. can still hear thunder from that storm. As it's moving into Spring Hill. So the Weather Service is watching it. I'm watching. We haven't had any confirmation of any kind of damage yet with this cell. But it is moving through the west side of Spring Hill, over the Spring Hill, over the GM plant, and moving up toward Thompson Station. It'll cross Interstate 40 near Burwood, and then it'll pass to the south of downtown Franklin. We've had storms that have passed to the north of downtown Franklin tonight. This is going to pass on the south side of downtown Franklin, but there's your road. This is Spring Hill right here. Let's see, let me pop it up for you. This is Spring Hill. There's your rotation right there, just on the west side of Spring Hill. Over the, I keep mentioning the GM plant. So it's about to cross Cleburne Road, Beechcroft Road, and it's near where Carter's Creek comes into Beechcroft. So Butler Road, Cleburne Road, right, there's this is an area that needs to be, you need to be in your shelter if you're in this area here. Let this storm pass. The rotation is coming through this area right now. At times, back when it was farther west, it did show possible signs of some debris at times. Not a strong signature of that right now, but there's the hook, which is where the rotation is. Again, on the north side, it's pulling in that drier air from the east, so it's bending the cell, and you get the hook, and the tornado would be right there if it were on the ground, right in this area. We'll get a radar update here in just a moment. Oh, I'm getting some, again, lightning on the north side of the storm is affecting Franklin. And it's about to cross, it's about to cross the Murray-Williamson County line. So continues to move to the northeast at about 55 miles an hour. Next stop would be Thompson Station and 840. So the rotation is holding together through this area. Is about to cross Beechcroft Road. So it was near this intersection of Beechcroft and Cleburne Road, and now where Saturn Parkway ends right there at the GM plant. That's where the rotation is passing over. And that's where that hook continues to pass over. So everybody in Spring Hill should be sheltered. Thompson Station, you should be sheltered. Not getting any reports of damage as of yet, but this storm is strongly rotating and has had a persistent long rotation with it as it's been moving off to the northeast. So tornado warning continues for Murray County and the southeastern corner here of Williamson County, including Thompson Station, including Arrington, including Triune, including much of 840, Paytonsville Road, Interstate 65, Lewisburg Pike, and 840. Carter's Creek and 840. There's your signature. And it's crossing, about to cross out of Murray County into Williamson County. in the next few minutes. So the hook is going to actually go over Spring Hill. And we've seen that couplet on the west side of Spring Hill, but really almost going through the center of Spring Hill. So here's the continuation of the warning. They're continuing the warning. Remains in effect until 5:45. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over Spring Hill. It is moving to the northeast at 40 miles an hour. Next up, continues to affect Spring Hill, and next up would be Thompson Station. And again, crossing over into Williamson County, Thompson Station. There's 840. And where you see this, let's see, where you see this is the couplet. That's the rotation center with the storm that continues to coincide with that hook with this cell. Franklin, you're hearing a lot of thunder and lightning from this cell, but the rotation's going to pass well south of Franklin. And then looking back to the west, there's another cell, non-severe warned, east of Hohenwald, that's going to come back over Columbia and Spring Hill, and then there are more storms back to the west as these cells continue to train over the same areas over and over and over. So moderate rain coming into Franklin now. There's some hail coming through Burwood. The couplet is right over Spring Hill. Right over Spring Hill. So next in line after Spring Hill, again, Thompson Station, Paytonsville, crossing Interstate 65, near 65 and 840. So Spring Hill is under the rotation now. Weather Service continues that tornado warning. The tornado warning does not include Franklin at this time. Does not include Franklin at this time, which is good. So no reports from this cell so far of a touchdown so far, even though this has been a persistent rotation. I wouldn't be surprised, especially back over western parts of Murray County a little earlier, if the Weather Service does find some damage and maybe a track. So the rotation now is on the north side of Spring Hill, going up into Thompson Station. Let me see what it looks like just in the mid-levels. Yeah, right there. That's from the Hopkinsville radar. Let's see if the Lawrenceburg radar can see it at all. No, not really. High top. Yeah, and then Nashville. It doesn't look as organized as it did a few minutes ago. I mean, the hook is still there right over Spring Hill, crossing into Williamson County now. You've got hail along 840 near Burwood, near Thompson Station Road, and 840. Some hail in the purple there. We've had lots and lots of reports of hail tonight and early this morning. Franklin, rumbles of thunder, and some moderate rain. I've had 1.3 inches of rain in the last couple of hours. but the rotation is going to pass well to your south. Here's the tornado warning right here. And so this is where the notch is right here. Tornado warning, Franklin, so it's well south of Franklin. The rotation, this is where your hail core is, or at least one hail core is going along Interstate 40 and Thompson Station Road. There's another update. Still, there's your notch. So Duplex Road, it's going to be near the intersection of Duplex Road and Buckner Lane. And then we'll cross over Interstate 65. It's going to cross Interstate 65 between, very close to Duplex Road and June Lake. The new exit at June Lake is where the rotation is going to pass over. And there you see the rotation right there. And that will continue moving to the northeast. After that, the next areas in line would be Bethesda Road near Lewisburg Pike and Bethesda, and then Harpeth-Paytonsville Road, and then would pass over 840. It's going to go over it's going to pass very close to the Grove as well, the rotation will, if it continues on its current track. So it's now, the rotation is now in Williamson County. Has come out of Murray County. And then, you know, more cells developing back to the west. These are not severe thunderstorm warned or tornado warned now, but we're going to continue to see bands and waves of heavy rains moving over the same areas over and over and over for the next few hours, creating this flood threat and likely ongoing. We're seeing significant rises on area creeks. Several roads already closed in Sumner County from flooding, and Richland Creek, we've seen significant rises in Richland Creek in Nashville. So the tornado warning continues for Williamson County. Cell with rotation is now passing over I-65 near Buckner Lane, and will cross Lewisburg Pike near Bethesda Duplex Road, between Bethesda Duplex Road and Bethesda Road. That's where that rotation will pass over. And there you see the rotation, at least broad rotation. Nothing well defined showing up on the debris tracker. The hail continues. It's moving. It's about to move into West Harpeth. It's moving along West Harpeth Road right now. That's in this purple area here. There's West Harpeth Road, where it comes into Hunter Road. That is at least nickel to quarter size hail right there, based on what we've already seen. Franklin, moderate to heavy rain, but you're going to get a little bit of a break from the heavy rain. Rains will continue, but once this cell passes mostly to your south, you'll get a little bit of a break. And there'll be more cells coming in from the west, but you'll get a little bit of a break. So crossing interstate, just crossed Interstate 65. The rotation with this cell with the tornado warning is crossed Interstate 65 and is about to cross Lewisburg Pike at June Lake Boulevard. That's where the core of the rotation is. And it's moving toward Paytonsville. There's 840. This is 65 and 840. Rotation, Paytonsville. So Paytonsville will be next. It's going to pass very close to the Grove. The rotation will. So the tornado warning continues. And the Weather Service continues to watch it carefully and watching creeks begin to rise also in the area. We'll start to see more and more flash flooding. Let's see. Got some wind damage in Lewis County with what was this cell here as it moved over that area. So the line of storms really from Kentucky through the northeastern corner of Middle Tennessee, back down into Williamson County, Murray County, Lewis County, all the way back down into Hardin County around Savannah, taking a look at more storms that are back over West Tennessee. So this is going to go on for a few more hours. Yeah, transitioning, hopefully seeing a transition from a severe threat to more of a flash flood threat over the next few hours as we start to see the number of warnings going down. One time we had 4 or 5 tornado warnings at the same time. Now we're down to just the one. So tornado warning for the southeastern corner of Williamson County. Still showing rotation. About to go over Paytonsville, about to go over the Grove. And then next in line after that, as it crosses 840, would be Arrington and Triune. We'll see if they continue the tornado warning as it continues to move toward the northeast. For those of you who have been with me over the last couple of hours, let's see, here's an update. So the tornado watch has been extended. Bedford, Marshall, Jackson, Rutherford, Lawrence, Overton, Wilson, Murray, Williamson, Davidson, Hickman, until 8 a.m. So Robertson, Dixon, and Cheatham County, you've been taken out of the watch. You are far enough on the northwest side of all this activity that you've been taken out of the tornado watch. And the strongest storms are going to continue right through here. Now we're going to probably in the next hour to 2 hours, while we'll see waves of storms and heavy rain, the severe threat will continue to kind of diminish as we go through later in the day and we get some daytime heating and this boundary starts to work back to the north as a warm front. We'll probably see more storms develop and another severe weather threat develop later today after a little bit of a break. Again, it's going to be a day where we're going to see waves of storms off and on for much of the day. So you're going to hear thunder, rumbling through the rest of the morning into the afternoon for many areas. And you'll have periods of heavy rain as well. But this threat of severe weather should gradually diminish over the next hour to 2 hours, give us a little bit of a break mid to late morning, and then we may start to see an intensification of the storms as you can see how this area to the southeast, let me make sure you're seeing, this area to the southeast has seen no rainfall. And so once the sun comes up and we start to see daytime heating, we're going to pop into the 70s across this area of Middle Tennessee while we're seeing rain-cooled 60s in this area. So we're going to see a pretty strong boundary that develops that will get stronger as the day wears on. And then as the day wears on, gradually we'll start to see this lifting back as a warm front. And once that happens this afternoon into the evening hours, we could see a re-intensification of the storms to be similar to what we've got going on right now later on this evening into the first part of the night. And then we get a break later tonight into tomorrow as everything kind of shifts up to the northwest, back closer to the Ohio River Valley. So that's kind of the way this should be playing out. So they've updated the tornado warning. They've canceled it for Murray County because the storm is well out of Murray County. It continues for the southeastern corner of Williamson County. There's your rotation. It's coming over, it's over Bethesda, moving toward Arno. And again, will be affecting the Grove. There's been no reports of damage with this tornado warning so far, fortunately. And so that will eventually, we'll see if they continue the tornado warning into Rutherford County here shortly. But fortunately, no reports of damage other than probably some trees down. And I do think we may end up with some damage kind of in this area between Hampshire and Williamsport, between Gordonsburg, Hampshire, and Williamsport. Somewhere in here, there's probably some trees down and maybe a brief touchdown or two as it skipped across that area when it was even a little stronger back to the west. But there's your tornado, a warned storm. There's the rotation, still showing up on Nashville, still showing up on the Hopkinsville radar. And it will continue moving off to the northeast. And again, this will all kind of transition into a flash flood threat, especially in these areas. This is just an estimation of how much rain has already fallen. You could see some streaks have been very heavy with the rainfall. And so we've got many flash flood warnings in the green areas through here. So rotations coming across Arno, Bethesda Arno Road, Arno Alisona Road, and then Arno Road, moving up toward the Grove. Tornado warning continues, although fortunately we have not had any reports of damage, but the rotation is still there. Take a look at it from high top. Yeah, so the rotation is broadened out a little bit. By the way, the red areas here, this red band, that's your tornado watch until 8 a.m. The yellow areas are severe thunderstorm warnings. The red box is a tornado warning for the southeastern corner of Williamson County. And then we also have the green boxes. The green boxes are flash flood warnings. And we're really going to see this transition to more of a flood threat from a severe threat as the morning wears on. But again, as we go into the later part of the day, the afternoon, as this area warms up into the 70s, this area stays rain cooled in the 60s. We're likely going to see this boundary start to work back as a warm front, and that's going to be a significant boundary, and we could see a re-intensification of the storms as that happens. So hopefully a break in the chance of severe weather later this morning, but it may return as we go into the afternoon and evening, and then we should get a break from most of this as we head into tomorrow. Okay. So the Weather Service is going to issue. Okay, so the Weather Service is mentioning they're going to issue a severe thunderstorm warning for Rutherford County. They're not going to reissue the tornado warning as this rotation is fairly broad and in the mid-levels and doesn't look like it's nearly as tight as it was a little earlier. So, because of that, I'm going to break from the severe weather coverage. If it redevelops as we go into the afternoon, I'll come back on this afternoon or evening if we get more tornado warnings. But thanks for joining me. Everybody stay safe. Everybody be weather aware. Do not drive into flooded roadways. We've got lots of flooded roadways now over Sumner County, parts of Williamson County, but especially in this corridor to the northeast where we've seen the training of some very heavy rains. We've got some power outages across Dixon and Hickman County this morning. So just be weather aware, have a way to hear warnings. There's your new severe thunderstorm warning for that cell that includes Rutherford County. And just stay weather aware through the day, and we'll be back if needed. Thanks, everybody.